Hi, this is Renita, also known as Teachable Resourceful Learners. Today's video is going to be activities for virtual learning. Again, I am Renita of Teachable Resourceful Learners. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to my channel. At the end, like it and leave a positive comment. Let's get started on activities for virtual learning for elementary grades. Why do we need to do activities for face-to-face meetings? Activities are going to provide content in a fun and engaging way. It allows for review of content area subject. Students get to collaborate and communicate with their peers. Students have the opportunity to think critically in a novel way. It's a great brain break. Students enjoy enjoyable activities. Students may attend face-to-face meetings more. We have no control if they show up or not. All we can do is notify the parents and the student this is the time that you need to be on your face-to-face meeting, and we hope that they show up. But by using enjoyable activities, their participation will increase. Students have the opportunity to increase their movement, and overall, by doing these fun, engaging, enjoyable activities, they might show up more than if we did not do these. These are several activities that you can use for virtual learning. In the next slides, I'm going to explain all of these activities and how you can use them. Trivia time. Students answer trivia questions spoken by the teacher. They can answer them in the chat by typing, or they can answer on a piece of paper and hold it up, or you could use something like Padlet where they could type their answers in that and you can see everybody's answers at one time. Your questions can come from Brain Quest decks. You can go to parade.com under entertainment, trivia questions now.com for kids/trivia, or you can do a Google search. I usually get mine from Brain Quest decks because that's what I have. Research questions are similar to trivia questions, except this time the students have to go out and find the answer to the question that you give them. How I do it is I give them a question such as, who is the governor of Montana? They have to go out and research it and find the answer, and they type it to me in the chat, just to me. Or you can have them research a topic. Say in science, you're studying natural resources. You give them 10 minutes to find the information, and then they have to write a fact that they learned. They can type it in the chat. They could do it on a Padlet board, Class Dojo portfolio, or they can write an email to the teacher. A good place for students to go to find information is a website called ducksters.com. Kahoot.com, it accesses prior knowledge, has introduced new concepts or previews content. You can host a game via video conference or send self-paced games to connect with students at home and any other location as part of distance learning. It has challenges for all content areas and skills. I love Kahoot doing distant learnings. I use the self-paced games. Well, what does that mean? If you're familiar with Kahoot and you do it in the brick and mortar place, you know it has a time limit. When you do the self-paced challenges for distant learning, you can eliminate the time. The kids play at their own pace. So I will upload it to Google Classroom and say it needs to be, if I uploaded it on Monday, I would say it needed to be completed by Wednesday. So I gave them like 3 days to do it. Then after everybody plays, Kahoot lets you know who played, who did not play, and you can see how the students rank. It's also good to use as a informal assessment so you know how the kids are performing on particular skills. And again, this works for all content areas, and the kids really enjoy playing Kahoot. Side note, we also play it at our family reunion, so it's good for families too. Virtual field trips. I will use virtual field trips on Friday, and I will call it Friday's field trip, or it was part of Fun Friday. Basically, you can find virtual field trips online by using a Google search. You could go to Google Earth, Google Arts and Culture, Liberty Bell, the Grand Canyon, the Houston Zoo, Yellowstone National Park. It does not matter. I just used to pick a place that I thought my students would be interested in. Also, when using a virtual field trip, I make the recommendation that you have some kind of accountability piece. I would recommend using a simple Google form where your first question is always their name so you know who turned it in. Second question, where did you go on the field trip? Third question, did you enjoy your field trip? Fourth question, yes or no, please explain. Last question, where would you like to go on your next field trip? And you could also add in there, what did you learn on your field trip? So those are just some ways you can use the activity, a virtual field trip. 5-second guess app. I love playing this game. You have to have at least 2 people to play. You are given a question and you have 5 seconds to respond. You can find it on Google Play or you can find it on the App Store. So if you were to play this with your students, you need to download it to your phone, ask the question, and go for it. JeopardyLabs.com. You can play Jeopardy with students in grades 2nd through 8th. I pick 2nd due to the reading levels. You can play it on different subjects like animals, weather, natural resources, holidays, etc. You can play it in teams or no teams. You can play it full screen. You can use a ready-made board or you can make your own, and it can be played in all content areas. And that is the logo of what it looks like when you're looking for it online. Directed drawings. Directed drawings are just a way to have some fun and change it up a little bit. Your directed drawings can be found on YouTube, Pinterest, Teacher Pay Teacher, or Google. This one was found on Google. It's just an example of a directed drawing of a duck. The teacher gives the directions and the students follow. You can use this on Fun Friday. You can use it as a following directions activity or a listening activity. And you also can find some more of these on Art for Kids Hub on YouTube. This family puts out like a new video like every week. They've been doing this for over 2 to 3 years, so there are a whole lot of directed drawings on there. Content area vocabulary Pictionary. With this one, the directions are on the screen, but when you're teaching virtually, the rules may need to be tweaked to fit an online learning experience. Example, at the bottom it says star and moon. Say those are your words for science. As the teacher, you should model and practice it first. Basically, in Pictionary, you're going to choose the word star. You're going to draw the word star, and the students have to guess what you are drawing. The beauty of this is a good way to review during virtual learning your vocabulary words in math, reading, writing, science, social studies, or whatever content area you are teaching. This could work in any grade and it's very open-ended. So that will be content area, vocabulary, Pictionary. I Spy content area. I've never done this with my class before. This is one of those things that I found and I discovered at a conference I attended virtually. And I love this idea. And I said, oh, I'm going to use this because it's so simple. You pull up a passage, just like I pulled up a passage from Charlotte's Web, and you tell the students to I spy something. You can have them I spy the same thing, but you don't want them to repeat what somebody else has said. Or you can have them find multiple things. And I've listed some examples like parts of speech, figurative language, number words, words with a prefix, word with a suffix, a compound word, a multiple meaning word, synonym of a word. So example here, it says synonym for wailing. If you go to the third paragraph, it says, but it's unfair, cried Fern. Cried would be the synonym for wailing. An antonym for over, if you read down further near the bottom, you see the word under. That would be the antonym for over. You could also, if you look in here, it said arms. You could also say, I spy a number word. I spy a body part. I spy some clothing because it says sneakers. That might be a good time to talk about how words change over time. So it used to be called sneakers. Now they're called tennis shoes or athletic shoes. So those are just some of the things you can do with the activity I Spy content area. Read aloud. Read a book aloud to your students. Present the screen and listen to a read aloud from Epic, or they can choose Read to Me. You can watch a read aloud on YouTube. You can watch a read aloud on YouTube and do not show the screen, and use it as a listening activity, and then ask listening comprehension questions after they listen to the story. So those are just some things you can do with the read. Karaoke. Karaoke is a Japanese word that refers to a performance in which a person sings along with recorded music. It's a popular form of entertainment. You can find karaoke for kids on YouTube. They also have gospel for kids karaoke for those of you who teach in a Christian school or a Catholic school or a religious school. Those are some more ideas of where you can find karaoke. And then here's an example of karaoke from one of the songs from the movie Sister Act. Simon Says. We're going to do a throwback. Simon Says is probably the easiest activity, in my opinion, that you could use during the first days of school because it really works on listening. Most of us know how to play Simon Says. Simon says, clap your hands. So everybody claps their hands. But if you just say clap your hand and a student does this, they are out because you did not say Simon Says. This is a suggestion. Since we're playing Simon Says virtually, it might be beneficial if we only ask the students to do things that we can see on the screen from what we can see, like from the waist up, because we need to make sure that we are not embarrassing anybody, because we need to make sure we realize that some students are not coming to virtual learning sessions dressed from head to toe, because everybody does not have expectations in their district or their schools of how to dress appropriately for virtual learning. So just remember that if you're playing Simon Says. Scavenger hunts can be played indoors or outdoors, or you can even go on a neighborhood scavenger hunt. It just tells you exactly what they need to do. If you're going to do a scavenger hunt, I would recommend that they take a pencil, crayon, something that they can write with outside, and they can check off what they find. Depending on what grade it is, you might want them to write exactly what it is. If they're younger, I would just go with a visual one. If they're older, I will go with one with more words on it and have them write what they find. So here's another virtual scavenger hunt. Find something with numbers on it. You could do this while they're online. You give them like 2 to 3 minutes to find something with numbers on it. They find it, they bring it back, they show it, then you go back and do another one. Find something with buttons on it. They find it, they bring it back. Another recommendation I have, if you're going to be doing scavenger hunts, doing your virtual learning, this will be something I will share with my parents. Some of the activities I will be using so they will know that the kids will be going back and forth from the computer throughout the house and coming back and forth so they will know what's going on. A neighborhood walk shape scavenger hunt. If you're talking about shapes in math, this is a scavenger hunt that you can do so all of your curriculum and your content can be a math scavenger hunt. This one says find 3 spoons, 4 books, and 1 orange crayon. I can hear it now. A student is going to say, Miss So-and-so, I don't have a spoon, I don't have a book, I don't have an orange crayon. Say, okay, bring back anything with 3 items, 4 items, and 1 item. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to get them to add numbers together. Alphabet scavenger hunt. This is where they find something that starts with each letter of the alphabet. You could also have them do this in one of their books they're reading. If they have a textbook with them, even if it's an online textbook, they can go to certain pages and find the words. This activity right here, alphabet scavenger hunt, this is another good activity to use during the first days of school, because you can have them list words that start with each letter. Like you might want to introduce nouns, and they will write nouns that start with each letter of the alphabet. They're going to say, well, I can't think of any. This will be a great time to introduce how to find information using an internet search. Calm like out. A lot of times when I'm watching TV, calm commercial comes on and it says, do nothing for 30 seconds, and the circle goes around until it is completely gone, and that's 30 seconds. Well, we could duplicate something like that doing virtual learning. You could give them a nature scene like I've done here, and you can say sit back and relax for 45 seconds, and you can set a timer, and at the end of the 45 seconds, their relaxation period and calming time is over. You can do this more than once throughout your day. It's up to you. Now, if you want to turn this into something different for ELA, you can have them describe the pictures in words. You can have them to write a story, and that could be the setting. So you can make it work for more than just one thing. Activities to complete in the chat. Word search, pick a meme, this or that. This is a word search. How I do it is just like what you see on here. I put up the word search and I say type the first 2 words you see in the chat. But you notice I do not have a word bank. And at the bottom, these are just different places you can go to find a word search. Your word searches can go for a do now, or it could be a fun activity, or it could be word work. It's up to you. This one is a summer word search, and the only thing different is it has a word bank. And again, you see at the top, type the first two words you see in the chat. When you have the students type it in the chat, they can type it to everyone or they can type it just to you. When I first start out using this, I would recommend that they have it set so they type it just to the teacher, and that will be a good way and a fun way to start teaching them on the first days of school how to use the chat. Type your answers in the chat. For this one, I will let them type to everybody so that way you can have a good discussion on choosing your quarantine house, choose your favorite Disney movie quarantine house. That's easy. But when you want to increase the DOK, you could ask them, why did you pick that house? And you could go back and have them answer why. You could also have them write their answer on a sheet of paper or their own personal dry erase board, and they can show it up in the camera and you can see and everybody else can see, and you can have a lively discussion. Type your answer in the chat again. Sandwich debate, a food that you flat out refuse to eat. More, if you had to give up one for life, how do you like your steak? Some more on ice cream, troll name, vote for your favorite Disney movie. This or that, do you like ice cream or a snow cone, owl or a unicorn? They have to pick again. Increase the DOK by asking them why. And at the bottom, if you go to BuzzFeed.com, Angela Mortez, cheese lovers, you can get some more about different foods with cheese on it, and they can pick this or that, or you can always do a Google search. Would you rather activity? Would you rather discussion questions or questions that can be used to start and engage in conversations with students? This can also be used as a springboard into opinion writing or argumentative. Like number 3 says, would you rather have a new outfit or $50 to spend? For an activity, they just pick one. If you want to use it for writing, you could tell them to give you 1, 2, 3 or more reasons why you pick what you did. So these are just would you rather activities. You can also find them online by doing a Google search. You can look on TPT. But again, I am Renita, also known as Teachable Resourceful Learners. I like to be resourceful. If I can find it online free, that's what I'm going to use, or you can make up your own. The next activity are using dice in the classroom. Dice can be used to teach mode, mean, median, and range, fractions, decimals, place values, computation skills. And I'll give you some examples of how you can use the dice. You can use real dice, or you can find animated dice online. To the right, you see a recording sheet. The first one will work by rolling 3 dice and you just add them all up. You could also multiply them. The second recording sheet uses a 2-digit times a 2-digit number. The last one uses, you would roll 2 dice and you would write the first number as your numerator, the second number as your denominator, and that again, and then you will add it together. That will work if you are adding fractions with unlike and like denominators. Other things you can do with the dice, you can roll the dice 1 to 5 dice at one time, and then you can add them up. An example, you roll 3 dice, you get 4, 6, and 3. You add them up, you get 13. You can also roll, say, 4 dice, and you get 4, 6, 3, and 2. You get the number 2,364. You can write it in expanded form, standard form, or word form. Then you could also roll 4 more dice 2 more times and write the numbers that you get. And then you could put the dice numbers in order from least to greatest, or greatest to least. You can also multiply the dice. You can roll 3 dice, write the number, then write the next 3 numbers that come after that. Or if you want to increase the rigor, you could write the number. Say you roll 4, 6, and a 3. You put it together, you get 364. You could write 100 more, 100 less, or 1,000 more, or you can even go with 150 more, or 20 less, or 20 more. It's up to you. You can roll 3 dice and set up a 2-digit minus a 1-digit number, or a 2-digit plus a 1-digit number. So this is very open-ended, but this is just one activity that you can do with the dice. GoNoodle is a free website that teachers can use to engage their students with movement and mindfulness videos, and it was created by child development experts. And GoNoodle is recommended for students between the ages of 5 and 12 years old. Some people also use GoNoodle for brain breaks. Task cards are cards that have different tasks or assignments listed on them. They're different from worksheets because it's only one particular question on a card. I use this during my virtual learning from March to May. I will read the task card and they will have to reply, or I will hold it up so they can read it themselves, because sometimes students need to read something more than once to make sure they understand. The 5 that you see here, they were all found on Teacher Pay Teachers, and they were free. Making words is an old activity where you try to see how many words can you make out of the letters in Welcome Back to Virtual Learning. There are 3 E's, so E can be used 3 times. You need to make sure the students know that you only can use that letter as many times as it appears in the phrase or the word, and you need to give them a criteria as to how many letters do you want in the word. It's the beginning of the year. I always say 2. I also say 2 because when you play Scrabble, 2 is the smallest word you can make with the letter. So I use 2. I would like to thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel, share with others, and like this video. And don't forget to leave a positive comment. Resources you may enjoy at my Teachers Pay Teacher Store, Teachable Resourceful Learners. Have a great year. Have an awesome year. Have a fantastic year. Again, this is Renita of Teachable Resourceful Learners. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Have a great year.